Hi and welcome to another episode of Fishing Western Australia. Tonight, we're cold, and why is that, Ryan?
Because we're chasing pink snapper in Cockburn Sound.
Oh yes we are, and there's more besides. Let's have a look at what's coming up. Today's show is very special and is dedicated to teaching you every single thing you ever wanted to know about catching pink snapper in a small boat off Perth. That's right, Ryan's going to tell you all of his secrets. They are just such a magnificent fish. On last year's series, the single episode that everyone keeps talking about was when Ryan took me out into Cockburn Sound and showed me those amazing big pink snapper, because it seems everybody in Perth wants to come out into Cockburn Sound in a small boat and catch those big pinkies. So today, we're going to do it again. This time we're going to show you even more detail, rigs, baits, where to find them, and this bloke here, he's going to share some secrets with you that are going to blow you away and get you onto some pinks. So let's go. Rather than just drive straight to a spot and anchor, Ryan always drives around his spots looking for fish on his sounder first. Now Ryan, that's what you're looking for, isn't it?
That's right, exactly. It's snapper, it's right on the bottom. There's probably a little bit of bait fish around there as well, but that's definitely snapper right there.
Excellent. Well, we found them. The next thing is we're going to get the anchor in and set it so we drift back in this nice sou'wester. For some reason he loves these windy days. No, actually you get more fish in the wind, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, unfortunately, when it's dead calm, we don't seem to get a lot of fish. That's, I don't know, the wind maybe stirs things up a bit.
I noticed that school Ryan was actually sitting on the bottom. Is that what you're looking for when they're feeding? They're on the bottom, or are they mid-water? Yeah,
look, if the fish mid-water, it means that they're there, but they're not feeding. You have to have them, or virtually, you want them right near the bottom, right. And that means they're feeding. So.
Okay. Now the lump, it's now behind us, so you want to tell people you don't anchor on top of the lump, do you?
No, that's right. You actually want to be upwind of the lump, so your burley and your baits are going back to the lump. I see a lot of people anchor right on top of the lump and fish behind it, and yeah, it's not the best thing. No.
Okay, so we're now going upwind of the lump. We're going to put the anchor in, drift backwards. Geez, Ryan, I was just about to set the anchor. What's that, a UFO?
That's the snapper, Steve. That's what we want. They're mid-water, so they're not going to be feeding probably until they get on the bottom, but that's an excellent sign.
Wow, we've seen them on the bottom, but we've seen this massive school up here too, and there's, oh look, I'm getting the anchor in now. I'm not hesitating, eh?
Okay, Steve's getting the anchor ready. What I like to do is pull up to the spot. We've seen fish before on the sounder. Find out which way the wind's coming from. That way at least you know to drive upwind and set the anchor. That way you know you're casting straight back to the lump. So check the winds before you anchor.
Of course, there's no free rides on Ryan's boat, and he doesn't care how wet you get. Oh Ryan, you forgot to bring the anchor slave. Ah! It's cold out here.
Okay, we've located that school before. Just gone upwind, as mentioned before. We've dropped the anchor. We use a good heavy duty sand anchor to hold bottom here in the sound. And all I'm doing is reversing the boat back to the lump where I've seen the fish, and then we're going to anchor. So hopefully get into the fish. There's one important thing with anchoring is it's just not a matter of dropping the anchor and fishing. You really want to make sure your anchor is set right, your boat is set right. If you've got a school of fish right behind your boat and you're not anchored right next to it, the guy next to you might be getting fish, but you're not. So pay a bit more attention to anchoring. Even if you have to do it a few times, pull up that anchor and reposition yourself. So it's an important thing. That's it, Steve. We're spot on, mate. The lump's right behind us, and so are the fish. So.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Are you really sure you want to catch snapper? Tell you what I found in there, mate. Some fish bite. We get that in the water, eh?
Oh, definitely. Straight away, mate. Fish bite, good stuff. It's a ability that I actually use for all sorts of fishing, but more so with pink snapper. So that's actually a fish extract. So it's very, very strong. You don't actually have to mix it with any other sort of pollard or burleys. Just pour it straight in the water. So let's get it in there. Okay, so we're putting it in. Like I said, it is concentrated, so you don't have to put too much in. It's a combination of body fats and liquids. So some will sink down to the bottom, the rest will stay on the surface, but that will attract them.
Now Ryan, you find that using that sort of liquid type burley makes a difference?
It does. I mean, obviously if the snapper are there, you'll catch them, but what this is going to do is entice the school, maybe turn them on. They may be there but not feeding.
Okay.
This stuff excites them. So yeah, definitely more fish with burley.
All right, let's get to bait, eh? I can see that slick starting at the back there already. It's calming it off beautifully. Now, Ryan, a lot of people might call that a muley. You call them a scaly mackerel, yeah?
That's right, scaly mackerel. They're very oily fish. I do use my slimy mackerel, but today we're using scalies.
All right, well, let's have a look at this. This is your rig. Tell me exactly what you're thinking about with this rig here.
Yeah, well, the idea is you want 2 snelled hooks. That way you can put them through the bait and it looks far more natural. The chemical sharpened, these are 6-0s, and we've got a small bore sinker there. You actually don't need a bore sinker at all, but I find the quicker you get your baits down to the bottom, the better. So, and I've also got a small crimp there. It's a little bit tangled up right now, but a small crimp. That will stop that bore sinker running all the way up to the swivel and sometimes tangling as the bait's going down to the bottom. So,
okay.
Very small amount of weight, gets down to the fish a lot quicker.
All right, now let's have a look at baiting up, eh? Now, you're going to put them head first.
That's right.
Do you believe that they take them head first?
That's right. Predominantly, most of the times, it will be head first, straight down the gullet.
And one there.
That's right.
One there in the fleshy part of the tail. You see we've got that ball sinker here. Very similar to drift baiting rigs that you've seen us use before. And we loop it around the ball and around the tail, just like that. And there we have a beautiful fish. And now this is the best part. We've done all this hard work. Watch this. All that hard work we've done is about to come to fruition, because once you've set your boat up perfectly, we just cast it back and we let some line out, we let it sink to the bottom, and finally we can sit down and wait for the snapper. You've got that drag pretty tight there, Ryan. You actually fish them with a drag done up at full fighting drag.
That's right, exactly. You don't want to have the drag back right off to nothing, because the fish will pick up the bait, run with it, and often just spit it. Whereas if you've got a fixed drag or a fighting drag, as soon as it runs with the bait, it will try to spit the actual hooks, but straight away it's hooked up just by the weight of the actual drag. So,
well, that goes against everything you read in East Coast magazines. Maybe it's different here in WA. Maybe Ryan can teach the guys in the East a thing or two. After the break, into the pinkies we hope.
Get a bit of an inquiry.
Yeah, we're just watching that rod go down.
Come on.
You can see we've got the beanies on now. The old Masters beanies are coming handy out here. It is brass monkeys weather.
Yep.
Got some weight.
I'm on. I don't think he's overly big, but
fish?
There's a bit of a head shake there on the tip of the rod.
Maybe a bit of wee bit of fish. Thank goodness there's something to start with. I was losing faith here. It's been, 20 minutes. 20 minutes of below zero temperatures here in the subarctic of Cockburn Sound.
I do pick all the best conditions, don't
This
I?
had better be a snapper, mate, after the 20 minutes of torture I've been enduring.
No, it's a Port Jackson.
It's a Port Jackson shark. Well, have a look at this one. They're not a protected species anymore, but you still have to put them back, I think. They're a beautiful looking fish, and there seems to be just a plague of them now, because they were a protected species and they're not anymore, so I think they've probably made a bit of a comeback.
Well, I can actually say now that this is the first time we've caught heaps of Port Jacksons and some big ones. Last week we got some big ones, so yeah.
A nice fight. Pop him back though. He's not going to eat too well.
I'll get the hooks out.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm on, mate. What, you got that little sharky there? I've got a rod in the way. Can you just
I'll get that
deal
out.
with your shark and the rod? I'm definitely on. That was that technique just working for me again, which was the don't actually have your drag done up loose, have it done up tight, and I heard the zzz of the rod going off. I don't think it's overly enormous, whatever this is, Ryan. Might be the Port Jackson's friend.
Oh, okay. Maybe a small snapper.
Maybe a small snapper, yeah. I don't know where you are, but you're not helping at all.
Clear that line for you.
Yeah, that's it. Well done, mate. Oh, a bit of a head shake. I think it might be a snapper. Oh,
There you
nice.
go.
Thanks. Crocheting's always good. Oh, it's freezing out here, but the action's starting to hot up. You're going to do the hard yards if you want the pinkies. We're getting a bit closer, Ryan. I might need you to lose this rod here. Yeah. Now, this is where you're going to lose a fish. Don't bullock it. It's not massive, Ryan, but it's a fish and it's kicking, and it's justified my trip out here in the cold. I'm just going to back my drag off a little bit at the boat, just so we're not going to lose him.
That sounds like it's got the characteristic head shakes.
Yeah,
Thump.
I'm feeling like it's a snapper. If it's not, it's a good fish of some kind.
It is we have colour, it's a
Pinky.
pink snapper. There you go, Steve.
Got
Well
the net?
done.
Got the net?
I'll just grab that in, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you're the expert. Oh, I like the look of this one. I like the look of this one.
Snap the trace.
Oh, Ryan!
No, I didn't even pull it out of the water.
That's why I wanted the net. Did we get to see it? I don't think so. It was a pinky though. Well, there's one, there's more. Hang on. Be back in a second. That was my fish! That's my fish! Geez, that one's going, mate.
Oh, I better lock up on this one, Steve, and I want to lose this one in the reef.
And you'd better land it because you lost mine. And if you lose yours and don't show everyone at home what these snapper look like, Ryan's going in.
Oh, she's going for a run.
Well, come on, you got to stop it. You're the snapper man.
Oh, testing at the Bannex drag here.
And how's that gold tip rod going?
Nah, good. Quite impressed with them.
You've been using them for snapper, haven't you?
That's right. I've been using ugly sticks over the last 2 or 3 years, but
Oh!
now Gladiator.
I grabbed it too early. I have one going there. It's really starting to go up now. Do you want me to get that one in?
No, that's fine, mate.
He's an expert. He doesn't panic like me.
I'd like to actually probably highlight now, there's no rush. Once you've hooked your fish, in this case, I use a set drag for the actual fish hook themselves. I try to sort of, get the first 10 metres on the fish. Once I've got that, I back off. People rush, and if you rush, you're going to snap the line, even if you're using 10 kilo or more. So don't rush your fish. Take it easy. Use the rod. The rod soak up those lunges, which it's doing right now as I speak. Here we go. Work the fish. Don't know if you can see it, but work the fish to the top of the water. There we go. And I reckon I've nearly got this one to the surface, Steve.
Okay, I'm going to duck in. We'll see if we can get the camera in there too.
Oh,
his famous last words.
I think you've seen the boat, or the net in this case. There we go, in the water. Look at that.
Bring it out, bring it around.
All
Oh,
those blue fins.
what a sight, what a sight.
Yeah.
Now, we won't make the same mistake.
Hang on.
Oh no, around the handle. Thank
That's
you,
all
wind.
right.
In the net.
Yes.
Now see, that's how you land somebody's fish, Ryan.
Oh, sorry,
Just
mate.
for future reference, all right?
I think I got a little bit game with your fish, mate. I'm sorry.
Yes, because it was my fish, not his fish, you see? Good friend, bad friend, can you tell the difference? We'll see you in a minute. This year, Ryan's actually been doing a fair bit of work with fisheries research, and talk us through this process of tagging the fish and why you're doing it, Ryan.
Okay. First off, put the fish on the tagging board. Get the overall measurement.
540 mil.
Okay, that one there is 540. Okay, so 540 has been recorded down through Steve Palumbo. I'll get the tags. The idea on tagging the fish is we really want to find out where these fish move to. We're tagging inside Cockburn Sound, but we want to know where they go, where they move to once they leave the sound. So it's important research information, this tagging is.
Now you put a wet rag over the eyes just so they're not stressed by seeing everything that's going on?
That's right, you don't want, they're about 10 times more sensitive, their eyes, to light than human beings, so it just calms them down and stops, them stressing out.
Excellent, okay, pop a tag in.
Okay.
It's just like going and getting a tetanus shot.
This doesn't hurt them. For the people at home who are thinking, does that hurt the fish? It's in the name of research, so certainly it's in their best interest.
Why 2 tags?
2 tags. 1 tag will work, but the idea on 2 tags is if 1 tag does come out, they've at least got another tag in there, which has got all the important information. And this fish may swim around for another 7 to 10 years' time before it's recaptured. So if you lose one, you've got another one. That's it.
And they really can live to 35, 40 years old, pinkies, can't they?
That's right. This fish, I caught it for a big one, but I did sort of hook it in the side. So it's only about maybe 3.5, 4 kilos, but this could grow to 12, 14 kilos.
They all shrink on the way up, mate. Pop him back now. I think he's ready to go.
Okay.
Now you've also been learning about the spawning. They found they actually spawn mid-water, don't they?
That's right.
Off he goes.
Okay.
Ryan's been working with the research department in the WA Fisheries Department, and they found that nice shower.
Nice shower.
They found they actually start off by swimming around the ground and then they work their way up in like a spiral. Is that right?
That's right. I've always thought they spawn mid-water, but yeah, Steve's got it spot on. The females will work their way from the bottom to the top. They'll give off the eggs. The males will be nudging them, putting out their sperm, and that's creating, obviously, fertilised eggs. So, and they just swim around in the water for about, I don't know, I think it's about 30 hours, and then they hatch.
Wow, they hatch that quickly.
They do, 30 hours they hatch, and then they have a process where they just sort of start growing and growing and growing.
Right here in Cockburn Sound, that's why the big pinkies are in, and that's why we got to look after them. I want one now. You can land one for me.
Yep.
Oh, now that's a bend.
Oh, he's on.
That's a bend. He's going for the reef. He's going for the reef.
Oh, this is a good fish.
That's going sideways now, mate. We've got a new moon tonight. You're really a big stickler for picking the right moon.
That's right, yeah, look, you can go at any time, but you really want to optimise the chances of catching fish. And pink snapper in particular really like the new moon, the darkness, so I try to avoid full moons at any cost.
And a rising tide.
And a rising tide, very important. Obviously the rising tide brings in the right conditions, it brings in food over the reef, and that's what they're there for, food, tucker.
And don't forget the 472 knot gale force cyclonic southerly winds. I mean, it just wouldn't be snapper fishing with Ryan unless you're doing this all day, would it?
Oh, that's right. It's all good fun. But I have actually had some good sessions on a full moon at night time on jigs, but that's not always the norm, so never write it off, however.
The trusty snapper boat net.
Yeah.
A few pinkies have gone through those mesh holes in the past few years, I would suggest.
That's right. Been snapper fishing for about 4 years now, and I love it. It's just great
really?
fun.
You'd never know. I mean, he never writes about it in the Fishing Day magazine ever.
Here we go. Look at this on the water. Beautiful fish, Steve.
Oh, get a shot of this one.
Oh, look at that.
Come in,
Beautiful
baby.
fish.
Come in.
Cockburn Sound pink snapper.
Oh, that's nice. That's just beautiful. And I've caught the gunnel this time. That wind is a nightmare. Oh, hardly fits in the
Great
net.
fish. Thanks, Steve. Good netting job.
Look. That's superb.
Look at the big hump on its head there.
Yeah, now, look, a lot of people have been asking, you know, what does the hump do? What's the latest theory here? What do we reckon?
Well, I know they certainly use that hump to bump the females to urge them into spawning.
Really?
That's right. So they actually, as we talked about before, they work their way up the water column. They use this to bump the female just around the stomach area here to help them, I suppose, I don't know, induce spawning. Out, my other rod's on.
I'll sort this one out. Is it a fish?
Is he gone? Picked up the bait, ran with it, lost him. Oh well.
Anyway, back to this one. We'll get out the net and we'll show you a close-up of this beautiful pink snapper.
Another tagged fish. Now this one's actually got the hooks down its throat. I want to release this fish, so there's no point getting a pair of pliers and ripping out its throat. It's just going to die. If you're keeping it fine, this one's going to be released. So what we're going to do is cut the line right there, get it back in the water very quickly.
Before you do, just quickly show everyone the magnificent profile of that. Look at that bump on the head and the big mouth. They are just such a magnificent fish, aren't they?
But you can see why I come out here so often. Beautiful fish. Let's put it back in the water.
Well, maybe not quite that often.